Student loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Happy Tuesday! It is Tuesday, right, Ron? I think so. Anyway, Easter is upon us. Yes, Easter. Ham, green beans, mashed potatoes, roasted potatoes, maybe a little kale salad. I don't know. You know, one of my my go-to dishes when I'm not sure what to make is actually mustard greens. You ever had those? Most of the greens that we eat, kale, mustard greens, collard greens, they're all part of the same family, the mustard family. All you need to do is cut the stem out the middle, saute them up, little garlic, white wine, water, salt, pepper. It's really one of my best. Ron's like, Patrick is off today. You know why, Ron? Because I had to pay taxes. And you know what? For the first time in a very long time, I didn't have to pay. So happy tax day, or happy day after tax day. Oh, well, hey, the man is in the house. Ron, welcome. Throws me off a little bit more, Ron, because I think I'm the principal officer. Well, like, it's not. This is not your office. This is mine, man. No, it's all good. Hey, so Easter is coming up this weekend. Have you ever? There's a lot of different ways to color eggs. And I have kind of a terrible story. When I was a kid, I was like 6 years old, maybe 7. We had moved into town from the country in upstate New York, and my mother left me alone, which A, was already bad news, but B, it was the week before Easter, so I wanted to color some eggs. And I took a dozen eggs out of the fridge. I put a pot of water on to boil. And I put a thermometer in there to like gauge the temperature. Yeah, not a pretty sight. The end of the thermometer melted off, and I guess the mercury ran into the water. I don't know, but I cooked and ate the egg anyways. I cooked like 12, 11. I think there wasn't a full dozen, maybe 10 or 11 eggs in there. I cooked them all. I ate them all. I colored them all blue because that was the color that I thought Easter egg should be. And I don't know if that's maybe the problem with me today. I'm really excited about tax day being over. Really. Man, that was... I almost didn't think about Easter yesterday. I had a real hard time talking about the spiral cut ham and the man that invented... who thinks that? Really? Who thinks of inventing a spiral slicer... or a slicer that would slice ham in a spiral so you can shave it off really easily and serve your family? Not me. I'm just worried about getting through tax day. So anyway, at the bottom of the hour, we're going to have Jeff Wetzel calling in today. Chef Jeff, the cowboy chef, better known as the Redneck Chef up in Bentonville, Arkansas. He's going to call in. We're going to talk about some of the stuff he does for Easter. And one of them he does is these the Gulf Coast deviled eggs, and they're amazing. It's a standard deviled egg, but the way he tops them off is pretty. It's pretty outstanding, actually. He's I've thought about putting bacon on top. I've done that before, a little cheese, something like that. Broil them, brulee them, whatever. But the way that he tops them is pretty amazing, and I was very surprised. It's an amazing dish, and anyway, he'll be calling at the bottom of the second hour. All right, so. You know what? Easter's not my favorite holiday. So I'm trying to get excited. I'm trying to think, okay, what do I put in my kid's Easter basket? What do I put in there, right? What do I cook for Easter? It's not my favorite holiday. A bunny hopping around, dropping eggs, really doesn't do it for me. So when I think about it, and I'm trying to be creative, and I'm trying to entertain the listeners, Easter just doesn't do it. Now, the real story of Easter, you know, whether you buy into it or not, that's up to you. But the whole Easter Bunny thing, I'd rather cook the Easter Bunny up as a rabbit fricassee, or as Bugs Bunny called it. Oh, wait. What was the king? He called it Hasenpfeffer, right? I'd rather have Hasenpfeffer than boiled eggs dropped from an Easter Bunny. But because because it's Easter, see, I'm smiling. If you're watching, I'm smiling. Because it's Easter, we will think of some very creative ways to color our Easter eggs. And one of the cool things I saw, Martha Stewart, like 10 years ago, did this really cool show on how to color Easter eggs in a unique way. And what she did, she went to the grocery store, and I want to see if I can find this. This is a really cool thing. So she went to the grocery store, and she went to the onion bin, and she pulled out all these red onion skins. She took those, and after she boiled the eggs while they were still hot and still wet, she put them in a container with all this red onion skin, and it colored them. It was really beautiful. It was really cool. But all right, Easter eggs. All right. Naturally, sorry, with onion skins. Yeah, it's very cool. There's so many cool things you can do with Easter eggs now. When I was a kid, you had 3 things you could do. You could do the half and half, which was like blue and yellow. You could do all blue or all green or all pink or all whatever. Or you could maybe leave a strip in the middle that you could draw something in, Happy Easter, or you could color it yellow. Actually, yeah, that was really hard. So my mother tried to teach us how to color eggs in 3 colors. It didn't work well. So, you dip the whole egg in yellow, right? Okay, that's fine. And then you hold the egg in your hand and you dip it into pink on the top. That's fine. Then you turn it over and you dip it into blue or whatever the color is. But it didn't work out well. As a child of 5 years old, I didn't do well with Easter eggs. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. But there's all these really cool ways to do it now. And one of the amazing things I saw with Martha Stewart, she gotta mute that. She took these onion skins, these red and white onion skins, and she put them in a big bowl, and she covered the onions and pressed them down. Or she covered the eggs and pressed them down, and it turned out so cool because it had this natural pattern from the onion skin, and it was really irregular, and it was faded in some spots really dark in others. It had purple, red, pink, these other hues of red, and it was awesome. Anyway, I don't do that anymore. I just kind of give my kids gift cards and make whatever they want for dinner. My son loves chocolate mousse. So anyway, all right. So there is nothing today of interest on the National Day calendar, unfortunately. But tomorrow is National Cheesecake Day, and Summy Schick was down at the it is National Cheese Ball. I thought it was National Cheesecake Day, but tomorrow's National. All right. Pat Gamir, I'm sorry. Tomorrow's National Cheese Ball Day. So if you're like me and you're a product of the 80s, 70s, and 90s, the Christmas, Easter, holiday celebration cheese ball was not exciting. But now, as a 51-year-old, I like them. There's a never-ending variety of food you can create with cheese, nuts on the outside, whatever flavor you put inside. But so I thought, all right, I looked it up today, and I texted Pat Gamir, and I said, Pat, as a loyal listener, you should know, because you have a business related around or revolves around cheese balls, that today is tomorrow's going to be National Cheese Ball Day. And she said, I didn't know. Well, I went back and looked, thinking I was wrong, and I thought it was Cheesecake Day. And once again, I was wrong. But the cheese ball is kind of an icon of American, holidays gone by. Not my favorite, but when done properly, it can be really cool. And here's one of the recipes I found is an easy bacon cheese ball recipe. So the ingredients are 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese, and you lift them out at room temperature to soften. 2.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. 1 package of ranch dressing mix. 1 small package of real bacon pieces, which means cook the bacon, chop it up, and put it in. Don't use the bacon bits, right? 1 cup finely chopped pecans or veggies. And by veggies, carrots, chive, cucumber doesn't really work, but something that you can chop up really fine and that would look pretty on the outside. Actually, herbs would be really good on the outside as well. So you could use parsley. What else? Good tarragon. You could use basil. That would all look really beautiful, really nice and green. Rosemary, maybe, but rosemary you have to mince up really, really finely. So you take all of that, you put it into a blend. You blend that, the cheese, the dressing mix, the cheddar cheese, bacon, and mix that all into a bowl once it's softened. And you don't want to really use. You can use a stand mixer, but you don't want to use a whisk. With a whisk, everything gets stuck in the middle, and then every 14 seconds you have to knock the whisk against the side of the bowl, and you have to get all the stuff out of the middle. It really doesn't work. So once you get that mixed together, you shape the mixture into a ball, and you roll it into either the nuts, the veggies, the herbs, whatever it is, and then you chill for 2-3 hours, and then you serve it with crackers. Now, there was I guess about 10 days ago, there was I don't want to say a lewd comment about Chef Patrick, but there was a interesting comment about spreading Chef Patrick on a cracker. And I wasn't sure how to take that. It was a compliment, but it was kind of embarrassing. It was flattering, yet embarrassing. So anyway, crackers, use Ritz. I'm sorry, butter crackers, water crackers, whatever you have on hand. It doesn't matter. You could use Ritz. You could use plain old saltines. It really doesn't matter. Anyway. Oh my goodness. Cheese balls, not my favorite either, but it is National Cheese Ball Day tomorrow. So if you're going to make a cheese ball, Pat Gamir, this is for you. Make a cheese ball, post it on Spoony.com. You can post things as a visitor, a listener, a follower of Spoony, and I'll choose a winner. And the winner will get, I don't know, pre-postage paid envelope to Brandon Morse, actually, of the Morse Code, or formerly of Morse Code. He's on the Morning Mojo now, and you could send him a suspicious package on Fridays. So we have suspicious package Fridays every week, and he looks forward to them for some reason. I'm not sure why. He cut one pack. The very first package he received, he cuts up with a knife, white powder, kind of goes out of the package all over the table, and he freaks out. Well, it was actually marshmallow powder, which is great for me, but for him, I think we almost gave him a heart attack. So please send in something nice, kind, a book, maybe a T-shirt, something that you bought for, my grandparents went to Florida, but all they bought was this lousy T-shirt. Send it to Brandon. Anyway, send in your best cheese ball recipe to info@spoony.com. If you want to post it, you can post it at Spoony Radio on Facebook, and I will choose a winner at the end of the week. All right. So Easter, as a child, I don't remember a lot of the holidays, right? Everything was food centered in my family, but there were a lot of holidays that really weren't joyous. And so Easter, once I turned 6 or 7, really wasn't that fun for me. And I never really enjoyed it. But what I do remember is my mother used to make always, every Easter, was she make scalloped potatoes. Yes. So my mom passed in 2001. She was I'm the youngest of 5 children. I was very close to her. And every time I had a day off, even if I lived 10 hours away, I would drive to see her on my days off and drive back to work without sleeping. So, but scalloped potatoes, one of the easiest yet most complex dishes to make, probably my favorite potato dish. Baked potatoes are fine. Mashed potatoes are fine, but scalloped potatoes are something different. And in French, they say potato, a dauphinoise, right? I think it's potatoes and milk. Dolphins in milk is what we used to call them in culinary school. But to make this very simple dish, all it takes is a few ingredients. You need about 3 pounds of potatoes, 1 roasting pan, right, like a baking dish, basically 3-inch deep, 9 by 12 or something like that, and a few things: cream, milk. I typically use Gruyere and Parmesan, salt, pepper, and potatoes. I usually use russet, but if you can get Yukon Gold, they're excellent, especially if you peel them. They have a really nice creamy texture. They're a beautiful yellow, and that contrast to the white sauce is excellent. So we talked yesterday about the ham, the spiral ham, the Virginia cured hams. That's all fine and dandy, but the side dish is what really makes Easter, right? And it's the potatoes, green beans, whatever you have. But potatoes, for me, you got to have scalloped potatoes. It's about a quart of heavy cream. You can do 3 cups of heavy cream and 1 cup of milk. Add in, it's about a teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of pepper, and a little bit of flour. So you take the flour, you want to mix into the milk. Don't heat it. You don't need to do anything to it. Just mix it in and blend it well. Then you add the Parmesan cheese in and take then set it aside. You take the potatoes, peel them up, slice them about, a 1/3 to a 1/2 inch thick. And the key to making great potatoes au gratin or potatoes dauphinoise is to line them into the pan, right? Shingled so that each person gets 1 potato at a serving. So you cut the potatoes 1/2 to 1/3 inch thick, shingle them into the pan, lay the next one against that, and layer them out, and then do a second row and a third row. I usually kind of do opposing rows, so it looks pretty when you put it on a buffet table. But take that, add, put the butter the pan, the baking dish, layer the potatoes, pour the sauce over, and then at the end you take the shredded Gruyere and sprinkle over the top, put it in the oven. It's about 350 for almost an hour, covered in foil. Probably right at an hour if you're talking like a 9 by 14 baking dish. Once you can pull it out of the oven, check it with a fork or a toothpick, make sure they're tender. At that point, pull the foil back, put them back in the oven, turn the temperature up to 425, let them brown on top, and it's my favorite dish. There's a really funny scene in a movie called Midnight Run, where Charles Grodin is talking to Robert De Niro, and he says, "Hey, have you ever had potatoes lyonnaise? Oh, it's just great thing. It's layered potatoes and onion and butter, and every time I hear that every time I watch that movie, I see that scene, I think of potatoes au gratin. I mean, it's iconic. It's so it's not over the top. It's decadent. It's rich, but at the same time, it's so simple, and it's a wonderful thing to share with your family. Anyway, if you watched the show yesterday, my sister Karen was on. Karen Mosher Carey. One of the things we talked about was customer service, and Jill Raff has been on the show a couple of times, and she has a program that you can use to enhance the guest experience for your, well, not necessarily diners necessarily. You don't have to be in the food service industry, but anybody who's in a retail business and you want to enhance the customer experience. You're in the service industry, the hospitality industry. She has an amazing program. So when I talked to my sister, I was thinking about taking ownership. I don't care what business you're in. If you don't take ownership of the business you work in, the business you founded, the business that you're a partner in, then I don't want to say what's the point, but why don't you? And by taking ownership, I mean thinking about every little nook and cranny, every little item sold, every plate that goes out the window, everything that's sold by your store, everything that's consumed, bought, purchased, it doesn't matter. Everything that goes out that door, everything that's consumed on that premise has your name on it, right? Now you think about, I'm not a real big fan of Food Network. I'm not a big fan. I'm sorry. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Oh, they're going to bury me. But I don't watch Food Network much. It seems kind of scripted, and maybe I could have pitched a few things through, 3 or 4 treatments a few times that didn't get picked up. But what they have there are 2 main themes. The 2 main themes are celebrity chefs hosting a show where somebody has a challenge and they win, or celebrity chefs challenging each other. And if you've ever watched Hell's Kitchen, Gordon Ramsay is kind of intense. It doesn't matter if you watch that or Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares from England or from the U.S., but he's a very intense person. A lot of people don't like him. He's boisterous. He shouts a lot of cuss words. He's kind of very mean and rude to the people that work in his kitchen. But in his defense, here's what I'd say. It's his name on the menu. It's his name on the venue. And ultimately, he's the one that's judged if the food doesn't go out correctly. So when I talk about taking ownership, I think about he is kind of the epitome of that. Maybe a little overboard because, it's drama, it's television, it's scripted. They have to engage the viewer. But by taking ownership of your business, whether you own it, you're just an hourly employee, you're a manager, mid-level, high-level, it doesn't matter. By taking ownership, you can really elevate that business to another level. I know this is off the Easter topic. Easter, like I said, not one of my favorite holidays. I kind of feel like it's Valentine's Day. Maybe the chocolate company got together with the candy egg, the malted eggs company, and they I know it's not. I know it's a religious holiday, but I feel like because we buy all this candy, the chocolate bunnies that we eat the ears off of. Don't get me wrong, I loved them as a child, but as I get older, I look at this commercialism and I say, why? But if you step back a minute and you maybe you don't celebrate Easter, maybe you don't celebrate the family gathering that will be this weekend. That's fine. If you're in the hospitality industry, this is a big weekend for you. So here's a chance to step it up. Take ownership. If you walk in the front door and there's I gave an example yesterday. There was a straw wrapper inside the front door that I had passed by twice. My general manager finally said, "Hey, Patrick, do you see that?" I said, "Yeah." "Well, how would you feel if your mother was coming in tonight and you own this restaurant?" I said, "I'd pick it up." That's right. So step it up, pick it up, look around, stay aware. I'm going to ask you because this is a really, really, really important holiday to many people. If you're in the service industry, if you're in the hospitality industry, food and beverage especially, put your cell phone down, leave it in your car, in your workstation, your server station, in the kitchen, the chef's office, the GM, I don't care. Put your phone down, look people in the eye, and give them excellent services. Because you know what? This weekend, you have a chance to make a difference. You really do. And for people to celebrate this weekend, it matters. It really does. There are 3 really difficult days in the restaurant. Well, there are 5, okay, but 3 of the most difficult are Mother's Day, by far the hardest. Easter, probably the second most difficult. And then all the other stuff falls behind. But Easter, because it's a religious holiday, not a family holiday, it's not concocted. Although I think that the chocolate, I think Nestle had something to do with it, but that's just buying the bunnies, right? But I'm serious. If you can take the time to slow down, focus on your guest, put your phone aside, and make a difference, you'll feel it. You'll be happy. They'll be happy. And you might have turned someone's day around, right? When you get the angry guest that comes in, oh, geez. Okay, well, that was a really, really awkward first half hour. We're almost to the bottom of the hour here. But look, if you have a guest that comes in, they might be edgy. Maybe the family has some tension going on. You can make a difference. If you're in the service industry, whether you're cook, server, GM, I don't care, busser, dishwasher, slow down, put your phone aside, focus, and pay attention. Because this weekend, is special. Anyway, in about an hour, Jeff Wetz will be calling in. We're going to talk about some really incredible Easter dishes you can prepare for your family. He'll give me a couple of recipes, and I don't know. I'm not sure if the outro music is coming in, so we will be back in about 2 minutes. Oh, there it goes. All right, Chef Patrick Mosher, Food Biz Pro. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Thanks.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter.
Got an old car? You can donate it, whether it's running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation and save a life. They'll even come and pick it up for free. The United Breast Cancer Foundation has saved hundreds of women's lives through their free or low-cost breast screen exams. But now they need your help. The United Breast Cancer Foundation wants to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And donating your old car, SUV, or truck, whether it's running or not, helps pay for them. Plus, you get a charitable tax deduction. Help the United Breast Cancer Foundation save lives by donating your old car, SUV, or truck. Call now for free pickup. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. Call right now. That number again is 800-245-0823.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Hey, welcome back, Spoony listener. Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. We are back at the bottom of the first hour. Course 2 up right now. So I'm a little off today. I have my hip is hurting. Taxes took a lot out of me yesterday. No, really, they did. You have no idea. Besides working here, where we're all trying to monetize this, make some money, grow the channels, grow the network, and expand, get paid. I got to work on the weekends, and when I can, anyway. I've never sat so much in my life, and so apparently sitting this last couple of weeks has really affected my hip, my back, my neck, my shoulders. Everything's a little out of alignment. So one of those like, well, stretch. Yeah, well, I'm stretching, and that doesn't really seem to be doing it. So just saying. I have a buddy that works behind us here right down the street. His name is Jeff Hand. Jeff Hand is the proprietor. He's the licensee, the franchise operator of Training for Warriors, right behind us. And he and his wife, he's what we call a kind of a marshmallow in high school. Nice guy, wonderful guy, but he was soft, right? And he decided to make a change. And I don't know if you've seen it before, but if you've never heard anything about Training for Warriors, check it out. They have locations all over the country. It's somewhere between like personal training and the CrossFit, but they don't. I mean, they're not trying to hurt you, and there's no. CrossFit has these names, right? This is something I went to a CrossFit competition in Bentonville, Arkansas, and it was bizarre because I didn't realize I'd never done CrossFit. I still haven't done CrossFit. Well, I did it one time. I was so sore I never went back. But they have these names for the workouts, and the workouts are named. I think the original was Marie, and then they have Jane, Judy, blah blah blah, and they go down the list. And that's not what they do. If you've ever come across a Training for Warriors location, check it out. They have great specials. It's under $100 a month, and I know $100 a month sounds really expensive for physical fitness, a gym membership. But the thing is, this is not just a gym membership. They personalize and customize a workout for you. So check it out. That's TFW, Training for Warriors. I think the one here right behind us is Training for Warriors Fort Worth, or is it Stockyards? Training for Warriors Stockyards. Jeff Hand is a proprietor, he and his wife. As a matter of fact, Jeff's going to come in later this week. I think he's coming in tomorrow or Thursday. He's going to start a show next week or the week after talking about physical fitness, health, nutrition, and those simple steps you can take every day to enhance your life. As my sister Karen will call it, it's 5-star life. Anyway, all right, that's that. I'm not all right. I talked yesterday about doing a ham, right? Spiral cut ham. Somebody said I'm mean. I'm not mean. I'm not mean. And I'm going to reply to that. I'm not mean. All right, so I'm not a big fan of spiral cut hams, but in general, I'm not a big fan of ham at all. It's good to make soup. I love it in split pea soup. I love ham in pretty much any soup you can make. Vegetable soup, doesn't matter. What I'd prefer, though, on a holiday such as Easter, is a standing rib roast. And if you've never done a standing rib, it's basically prime rib, but prime rib with the bone in. And it's 6 or 7 bones. It's about 12 pounds. And it is one of the most spectacular displays you can make at any family gathering. Now, there's a plethora of rubs and spices and herbs and salt and pepper that you can put on there. But really, a really basic rub with salt, pepper, crushed up, actually, and yes, I'm saying this, crushed up bay leaf, oregano, thyme, rosemary, and garlic powder, onion powder. You might put some paprika in there. I actually did one a couple of years ago that was blue. I bought these sun-dried blueberries. I took some savory seasoning, and I mixed them all together. I rubbed the roast down, and put it in the oven. It was like 280, 270 for, 5 hours. And that was amazing. But the simple, savory salt and pepper is all you really need. As a matter of fact, when I cook a steak, get that out of the way. All right. When I cook a steak, I put nothing but salt on a steak. I put pepper to finish. Any really good chef, and I'm not calling anybody out here, but a good chef, you may have a special rub, proprietary blend, but salt is really all you need. Good, coarse, kosher salt. That's it. That, maybe a little pepper. That's it. Sear the steak over high heat, but it works the same for any cut of beef. And again, I talked about, I'm really not a fan of not a fan of ham. I like ham. I'm not a fan of like sliced ham. I don't like ham sandwiches unless it's leftover ham that's been cut off the formerly used for dinner service. Basically, it was your ham you served at Easter or Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever whenever you need an alternative for turkey in this country. Anyway, you served a ham. You have leftover. I love a ham sandwich, but I don't like sliced ham. Right. So what I do is I love beef anytime. So, standing rib roast. And a standing rib roast, if you have a butcher nearby, go and ask them, call them ahead of time, but you figure about a pound per person. And the reason is that the ribs are included in the standing rib roast. And if you don't include the weight of the rib, you won't have enough meat to feed the crowd, the horde, the family, right? Or the friends. All right, roast. When I worked at Sodexo, I was the corporate chef for Hewlett Packard right after they had joined with Compaq. We had a huge campus in northwest Houston, and we did about 14 to 17,000 meals a day. But one thing that stood out every day, we did a couple of things. We had 2 food courts in one dining hall. They did like 10,000 of the meals out of the 17. We had 3 other remote dining rooms. It was crazy. I walked like 15 to 18 miles a day there. It was crazy, stupid. I can't believe how. But I'll tell you what. There was a young lady who worked. I can't remember her name. She did she worked at the barbecue station, but 2 days a week we didn't just do barbecue. We actually did prime rib. And when we did prime rib, we put this, not a, all right. So I said, the person that said I was mean said the listeners are going to come after them. I said, no, they're not going to come after you. So I didn't call you out. Not yet anyway. So be nice. Remember, so here's the funny thing. Doc and I used to talk about this all the time. When somebody we would ask really politely whenever we went to a service, AT&T, Amtrak, apparently they caught him first, but he was really out to get them. Whenever we were not satisfied with the service, not a big deal. But when it happened 2, 3, 4 times, then Doc would inevitably say, and those of you know, Doc Thompson, my business partner and one of my best friends, who's recently departed, he would say, I have a national radio talk show. You might want to fix this. And Doc was not like vindictive. He wouldn't like say, hey, you're going to get fired if you don't fix this. I hate, you've offended me. You've embarrassed me. He wouldn't do that. But he would talk honestly about the service on the air. And, when I talked about at the top of the hour, slowing down, putting your phone aside, and paying attention to the guests this weekend as a food service employee, a food and beverage employee. I don't care if you're in a bar or restaurant, it doesn't matter, hotel. I thought about that because we went to Humperdinck's. I'm going to say it, Humperdinck's. This local, not so iconic sports bar, right? Good food, really good food. I think if it had been executed properly, if they'd had good service, if the bartender would have paid attention, it was really slow. There was another server walking around behind the tables. She was eating off one of her friends who were apparently employees who were dining there, and she was eating off the table, going to her tables after licking her fingers. Sat at the bar. Ordered nachos after 9 minutes of waiting for the server to show up, which was the bartender. Nobody at the bar. No one. Ordered a beer. Ordered a vodka tonic. Waited 11 minutes for the food to come back out. No napkins. No fork. No knife. No spoon. Nothing. Not a glass of water. Dude, would you like a glass of water now? Yes, I would have wanted a glass of water. Please. I like water. I drink a lot of water when I dine. But no, none of that. And it was dead. It was absolutely dead. No one there except like 4 people at the bar, which seats 50. And maybe 4 tables in the entire restaurant, which seats 250. Maybe more, 300 probably. So get through the meal. Didn't complain. And at the end, ordered a bread pudding. So the bread pudding comes out like it's 15, 20 minutes later. Yes, I understand they have to bake the bread pudding, microwave, whatever. Chef Mike, that's what we call the microwave in the kitchen. Chef Mike, they put it in there, they bake it, put the rum sauce on there. It was delicious. But here's the thing: I had no way to eat it. There was no spoon, nothing. So I waited, tried to get the attention of the server, the bartender, right? Nothing. Chatting, talking to their coworkers, talking to their friends who were guests at that time. And you know what? I really just needed a good day out. That's all. I needed one good day out. One good day. Because things weren't going well here. I needed one person to pay attention to pay attention to me, not me, at the restaurant where I was going to spend my money and dine. It didn't happen. Not once. There was no manager. So I spun around, looked all around. Is there a manager present? Maybe I could tell no manager on duty. None. No shift manager, no manager on duty, no general manager, nothing. No, not even a lead server. I couldn't tell. There's only one server I saw, actually, who was, again, the server that was licking their fingers, sadly so. And again, I said I gave up bitching for Lent. And I'm not complaining. Look, Humperdinck's, I've had, no good experience there. I've been there 3 times. Not a single good experience have I had. So again, this weekend, that was just an average like Thursday. It wasn't a big deal. Friday, I don't know. Saturday, wasn't a big deal. This weekend, though, because for many people, it's a very special holiday. Take your time, serve them well, make them happy. And in the meantime, go out, buy a 10 to 12 pound, maybe 13 pound rib roast and feed your family. And when you get ready to feed them, this is what you do. I typically start with like a 10 pound rib roast, 12 pound. That's 5 to 6, 7 ribs, right? It depends on what you can buy. Your local butcher may have several different varieties. Okay, here's the deal. Your butcher is not going to have several different sizes, shapes, weights of rib roast. They're going to have one standard cut, right? It's 6 to 7 bones. That's pretty much it. If you need more, buy 2. If you need less, buy 1. Have some leftovers. But it's really simple. Salt and pepper on the outside. Heavy on the salt. Okay? Trim a little bit of the fat off, because if you don't, what happens is it melts. It doesn't just melt away, but you have extra fat when you cut the ribs into individual pieces, and it ends up being a little too much, right? It's like ribeye, rib roast, ribeye, right? You either love it or you hate it, but there is a middle ground. You trim a little bit of the fat off the outside, which is typically on the bone side, going underneath the roast. Trim that off a little bit. You don't want more than a 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to post this recipe from Epicurious. I just use salt and pepper. That's it. You don't need anything else. Just salt and pepper and a lot of salt. I know we've been conditioned in this country to not use salt. But ultimately, when you look at the sodium intake of the average American, the people typically with the highest blood pressure, and I'm quoting several studies, are those with the lowest salt intake, sodium intake. I'm not saying go out and load up on sodium every day. Don't go out and oversalt. Don't buy salted peanuts and add salt to them. It's all right. I know I'm being silly, but really, a lot of salt on steak, any kind of beef, it's necessary. It's a dense, fibrous tissue. If you don't salt it, there's no flavor in the middle, right? Now, the flavor doesn't necessarily travel to the middle, but if you don't have enough on the outside, then when you bite and take that big first bite, you chew it up, it doesn't, the salt on the outside doesn't travel well, right? Extra salt. And when you think you've got enough salt on the outside, 10% more, just saying. All right, so rub it with salt and pepper. And then I typically, I use a roasting rack like you would use for a turkey, or you get a roasting pan. I like racks inside the pan to keep the, whether it's beef or turkey, it doesn't matter, ham, to keep it out of the juices that collect in the bottom of the pan, because it tends to make that bottom side really salty, just because the juices drain into the pan, they condense. The salt gets, more dense. It gets more, the water evaporates, right? So the salt condenses. It makes the bottom of whatever you're cooking very salty. So put it in a roasting pan with a rack at one, there's a couple ways. Yep. I heard, but don't subscribe to this, that you can turn your oven up to 500. Leave it at 500. Heat it until when the beep, it preheats to 500. You throw the tenderloin or the standing rib roast in there. Let it go for 10 minutes. Turn it off for an hour, and it comes out perfect. But I'm telling you, it never works for me. It never works. There's all these tips and tricks to the trade that don't work for me. That's why I don't give a lot of tips on the air, right? I don't. But I'll tell you this: you put that thing on 350 and let it go for 16 minutes a pound. Maybe 15 to 16 minutes a pound. You will have the perfect standing rib roast. And again, like I spoke about yesterday, when you take it out of the oven, let it rest. And by resting, I mean like set 5, maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes. Let all the juices redistribute throughout the meat. And then when it comes time to serve, one of the really cool things you can do is the rack, the rib rack. They're kind of attached, right? You can cut through them, and there's a chine bone on the bottom which connects them all. So when you cut between the ribs, you have to kind of divert your knife right or left. It's typically right, depending on what side you're cutting from. But you divert right, and it goes around that little bone, and you can separate the first rib from the second to third, fourth. One really cool thing, though, is you don't have to do that. If you take your knife when it comes out of the oven, you trim the entire loin, right? The entire rib roast off of the ribs themselves. Just take your knife and follow the bones down the side that the meat. Okay, when you look at a rib roast, one side has nothing, one side has the big roast. Take your knife, trim down that side until you remove the entire roast. Turn the bones over, and then slice the rib roast into maybe 1-inch slices. And I'm telling you, it looks really beautiful. There's you can make a bed of rosemary stems. You could decorate it with thyme. If you have thyme. Thyme is a really cool garnish, right? You have a bed of thyme in your front yard. You have an herb garden. Cut them all up. And you want thyme leaves should be like, okay, herbs are a pain in the ass. I'm just going to tell you. They really are, but they're cool. And I love the smell of fresh herbs, but thyme is my favorite. So when you grow thyme, you get it starts to grow and mature. It gets really thick, and the stems, the stalks become branch-like, right? They're very hard to deal with. So every year I trim them back. I do the same with rosemary. But when you do that, leave the stems like maybe 2 to 3, 4, or 5 inches long, at least 2 inches. Cover an entire tray with that and make a nice bed. You can mix in rosemary if you want. Take that, lay that rack on top. That's just the bones with the roast removed. Slice the roast and kind of shingle it over that. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite dishes. I absolutely love a standing rib roast. If you don't want to slice it, one of the things you can do is you can leave it out there. Maybe slice the entire roast off of remove it from the ribs. Turn the rib rack over, place it on there. But what you can do is, if you have a cutting board nearby, then you can do an action station for your Easter party. You're hosting family. It's really cool. Dad, Grandpa, Uncle Joe, they can stand there. They can slice the prime rib to order, and take the knife, carving fork, put it on the plate. It's a really cool thing to do. You only need 2 things to accompany this. One, yes, you have to have horseradish cream sauce, which is really simple. It's horseradish, right? Prepared horseradish. You drain all the liquid out. You put it into a strainer. You squish it down, get all the liquid out, as dry as you can get it. You mix that with sour cream, a little white pepper, yes, white pepper, and salt, and you're done. That's it. And then you need bread. I don't care what kind of bread, yeast rolls, sourdough rolls. It could be not sandwich bread so much. I mean, you could do sandwich bread, but if you have a roll, it's perfect. And then if somebody's carving, right, like you do with a tenderloin at a carving station, then they can shave off these little pieces. They can actually put them into the yeast rolls, into the whatever you're serving. If you want additional condiments, tarragon mustard is good. Chimichurri sauce is great. That's really easy. It's olive oil, garlic, parsley, or you could do a pesto, basil, and little pine nuts toasted, Parmesan cheese, olive oil, salt, pepper. Brilliant. That right there That with some fresh vegetables from your local farmer's market will be I'm telling you, it's better than ham. Just do a standing rib roast. It's amazing, right? And the presentation is, okay, I get a little excited about entertaining at home because right now I don't have a home. I kind of live right here in the Spoony Mojo Studios. I say that in jest because really I live with Tom, our VP of sales. But I love entertaining. And if you can do something that's spectacular without having to design this big buffet and spend a lot of money on decor, the food itself should be the display. We talked about the service in the food and beverage industry, right? Slow down. Pay attention, especially this weekend. Really focus on your guest. Focus on your clients. They're your guest. They're your guest. They're not diners. They're not folks. They're your guest. It's not your house, but you're hosting. So think of that the same way when you do your Easter meal this weekend. I challenge you to step it up a notch. So instead of the old spiral cut ham from Honey Baked Ham Company, and I love, look, I'm telling you, I'm not a big spiral cut ham guy, but when I went to the Honey Baked Ham store, it was freaking awesome. It was awesome. 4 different breads, several different hams to choose from. The sandwich was like $14, but it was really good. But this weekend, whether you are celebrating because it's family or because it's a religious observance, step it up. Put your phone aside. Turn the TV off. Make some au gratin potatoes and a standing rib roast. Ham if you want. That's fine. I don't even care if spiral cut. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to teach. And what I want to teach is the passion to serve those closest to you. So make something special, something really simple. Doesn't have to be fancy. Is there something from your childhood that maybe your parents or grandparents, your aunts or uncles made every holiday season, whether it was Christmas or Easter or Thanksgiving? Think back. Take the time to make this event that people have scheduled their time around to spend with you, or that you've scheduled your time around to spend with them. Take the time. Find something really cool. And if you didn't see it yesterday, if you go to Spoony Radio on Facebook, you can find on our Facebook page, there was a really cool cake that I actually posted yesterday that was a bundt cake, and then you frost it. You fill the middle with a little bit of frosting, but it was really cool. Basically, you took this mixture of it was cocoa powder, butter, and the old the big biscuits, the mini wheats, but not the frosted mini wheats, right? The mini wheats that we had as kids. You take those, break them up, toast them in the oven with the butter and the cocoa powder, and that becomes the hair of the dog, so to speak. It makes the bundt cake look like a nest. So you can crush that up. You fill the hole in the middle of the bundt cake with frosting or whatever you want to put in there, cream cheese frosting, whatever, maybe another treat. But then you cover it up with this. It looks like it's a mixture between moss and a nest. It was really cool. It's one of the coolest things I've seen. And I'll tell you, I'm a huge fan of the large biscuits okay. I'm obviously having a really tough time today. All right? I'm hungry. I'm tired. Taxes pissed me off, but I got money back, so I'm all happy now. But I was really upset last night. I didn't sleep well. And I'm still stewing over. I don't know why. I'm not paying. Why am I stewing? But if you take the large the mini wheats, right? Break them up, cocoa powder, butter, bake them in the oven. It's awesome, man. It looks awesome. You fill the middle of the nest with some somebody sent me something that was really not funny. Hey, I'm not failing. I'm flailing. There's a difference. It's a long day. It's a long day when you wake up at like 3:04 a.m. Anyway, we're going to go to break here in about a minute and a half. But if you go to SpoonyRadio.com or, Spoony.com, Spoony Radio on Facebook, all the social media, look, spread the love. I'm a little, I have to tell you, Randy White yesterday, his show, he did his second episode. His first episode was last week. He's on at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. He has a great live podcast called Into the Fire right here in this studio. An hour after my show, I'm a little disappointed. I've been on the air since September, and I'm on average getting like 280 to 500 views. His first day out of the gate, he got 700, folks. All right, so if I'm doing that bad a job, tell me what to do. If I'm doing a good job, tell your friends. I have one mission. Make Spoony work. Keep Doc's legacy alive, support his children. And you know what? I'd like to get a paycheck, to be honest with you. So tell your friends. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Okay, don't go on Twitter. I'd say go on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. But anyway, we'll be right back. It is, 2-minute break. Chef Jeff Wetzel coming up right now. He'll be back. Oh, I'll be back in a minute. He'll be calling in. We're going to tell you what to make for Easter. Man, listener star. We'll be right back.
This is the only 24-hour take-anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. In Paris, Jean-Francois Martins, the deputy mayor for tourism and sports, says the Notre Dame Cathedral is the heart of the city.
The Cathedral Notre Dame is our Middle Age history. It's specifically at the place where the city of Paris has been built. The very beginning of Paris, when it was a small city, it was just around the place where the cathedral is rising right now.
Martins spoke to CBS this morning. UN spokeswoman Alessandra Vellucci says UNESCO has already made an offer of expertise to help French authorities.
The assessment will be carried out with the authorities concerned, including national and local authorities, site management and church authorities, in order to develop a plan of action, avoid further deterioration of the sites, and recover as many original elements as possible.
According to Notre Dame's heritage director, only one piece of architecture inside the building has been damaged. The high altar, which was installed in 1989, was hit by the cathedral's spire. Also on townhall.com, the Trump administration is looking how to deal with people who stay in the country longer than allowed.
Two people familiar with the plan say officials are discussing boosting pressure on nations with high numbers of citizens overstaying their short-term U.S. visas, saying the administration could introduce travel restrictions on nationals from those countries. It's one of many ideas in play amid President Trump's growing focus on immigration. This would be one of the more subtle tweaks to the legal immigration system. Others are more extreme, like his threat to close the southern border. Some ideas have been proposed, rejected, and brought up again by an administration desperate to satisfy a president angry over the migrant influx. Sagar Magani at the White House.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's D-I-A, thrive.com.
Have you done it? You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror?
I'm one of those people you don't want to see naked.
Yeah, most of us. But I mean, you look and you're going, what the?
I know.
How did I get to whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs to tell you about a different way to shed those pounds. This is brand new tech. It's only been around for a couple of years or so. It was based on research from the University of California that said there's a molecule called OEA that's found naturally in your body. It produces it in the Mediterranean diet, that when taken in concentrated amounts, it will actually make you feel fuller and boost your metabolism.
I've lost about 10 pounds so far.
It's
using
amazing.
It
Now,
really is cool.
A company said, we can take this to market and make this great product that'll help you. It's called RidUZone, RIDUZone.com, RIDUZone.com. It's Brad's worked. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to RidUZone.com and try today. You're going to love it. RidUZone.com. Remember that, RIDUZone.com.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Well, Chef Patrick is back. He's taking a little Motrin. Actually, Advil. Wow, that was a rough hour. Yeah. Anyway, so welcome back to Spoony Radio. This is we're on Tuesday. I guess 4 more days of Easter recipes, preparations, my pontification on what you should do for customer service and hosting your family and friends at a party, and maybe some really cool stuff on Friday from Cheryl Rich Heisler from Mixed Metaphors that you could serve this weekend to your guests for that, make it a really extra special occasion. Okay, so I don't, I'm trying not to complain, but my hip is really killing me. So I bent over to pick up my backpack before I came over here. I was rushing, throwing my computer inside, and it kind of dislocated, and that's not a comfortable feeling. I've had a lot of aches and pains over the years. I've had a couple of knee surgeries, shoulder dislocation, but this one's getting to me. So that aside, it can't be as bad as getting hit by a train. So I'm going to just move on. Do you ever wonder where those interesting recipes that your family had come from? Was it a family member that developed them? Was it something that their forefathers passed down to them? I mean, my mom. I talked about yesterday. My mom used to make just Jello fluff, right? Jello fluff was like Jello mixed with what do you call it? Like non-dairy whipped topping. But I mean, they didn't have non-dairy whipped topping 50 years or even probably when my mom was born, they didn't have it. So how did that come about? I'm always curious, who was the first person to eat blowfish and why? Were they that hungry? And how many people died? How many people died before they actually found out how to cut it, slice it up, serve it to you in a manner that was suitable? It confounds me. I love the etymology, right? The history of words, the origin of words. And I'm not sure what the food history is called, the history or the origin of a dish. There's got to be a science that's related to that. It's fascinating. I've talked about polk salad before, right? And polk salad is it's a green like a silver dollar size, right? It grows all over Southwest Texas or Southeast Texas. You boil it and then drain it and boil it and drain it again and boil it and drain it. You have to do it like 5 times. Why? Because if you don't drain it that many times, it makes you ill. It makes you, really ill. Like tachycardia, projectile, not cool. So who thought to cook that and feed it to their family? I don't know. Anyway, so I'm thinking about all these things I had as a child, right? It's not a far fetch, or it's not a stretch to think about how did potatoes au gratin come about, right? Well, somebody had potatoes, which were probably about to go bad. They peeled them. They sliced them up. They said, you can boil them in water. Why not just put a little milk in there, a little cheese, a little flavor, bake them in the oven, which they didn't have back then. They probably baked them hearthside, right? That's not far-fetched. But these crazy foods that we eat as individuals, where does that come from? I had a family member once told me that pine cones were porcupine eggs, right? And if you nestled them in a basket and you put them next to the fireplace and you water them every day with a little sprinkle of water on your hand, that they would hatch and you'd have this gaggle of porcupines running around the house. Well, no, who wants a bunch of porcupines? But okay, that's one thing. But who thought about taking something poisonous like juniper berries and making gin from that? I mean, where does this stuff come from? I'm amazed at the creativity, the necessity. Sorry. All right, the necessity for people to find these oddball things to eat. Why? There's one of the vodkas we had recently was it actually has a aspen branch cut in two and stuck in the bottle, and I'm like, why? I mean, aspen is a birch. It's not tasty. It doesn't really enhance the flavor as far as I'm concerned. But I didn't say that on the air. I just thought, why would you do that? Why not? Look, vodka is supposed to be odorless and tasteless. It's an odorless, tasteless liquid. And why would you change that? Anyway, something to think about this weekend. When you eat something that you're like, where did that come from? I mean, you thought about green beans, this thing that grows up on a vine, little thing hanging off. Who was the first person to snip a green bean, put it in boiling water with bacon, of all things, which is a great addition, by the way. Really good addition. That and diced onion. But who would have thought of that? I don't know. All right. Jeff, if you're there and you're listening, you're probably not listening because knowing you don't listen to the show. You're probably fishing every day. But give me a call. The line is open, and I really want to know what you're cooking for Easter because I know you're a busy man. You're in Houston right now. You live in Bentonville. Traveling during any holiday is always stressful, and especially when you have my budget, which means you're driving. It's doubly stressful, right? Flying. Not so bad. Driving, not so great. He does it really cool. All right, so Jeff may not call in. I don't. It doesn't matter. So one of the things I want to talk about today, is deviled eggs. There are 15,000 different ways to make deviled eggs, right? One of my favorites is the way that Jeff Wetzel made them. I'm hoping he calls in because I'm gonna give the trick away right now. But what he does, he boils the eggs, takes out the yolk, mixes it with mustard, mayonnaise, some seasoning. I typically use mayonnaise and dry mustard instead of the actual mustard, the yellow mustard, and with mayonnaise. It just it gives a little drier texture. I like it better. But he puts some toppings on there that kind of make it something sensational, right? One of the toppings is bacon, and yes, I have in the past stated that bacon was a little overdone in its use in things such as coffee and chocolates and so on and so forth. But in this case, it really enhances the dish. Nice, thick-cut, crispy bacon. It's fantastic. The other item is something you might not, and there he is right there. So the other item is something you might not think of. As a matter of fact, I guarantee you that you have not thought of it, at least as a garnish or a component of a deviled egg. So, hey, Jeff. Hold on. I got to answer. Jeff, what's up, buddy?
Yes.
Dude, you got to save me, man. My hip is killing me. I bent over, dude. It dislocated, and I'm freaking out. I can't sit still. I can't talk. I can't think. So, Jeff Wetzel, we'd say the redneck chef, but more like the cowboy chef. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm living the dream, man. You and Le Bouvier Chef Services, you kicking butt up there in Northwest Arkansas?
We're doing the best we can with it.
So, you and I talk about what we do for holidays all the time. We share recipes, we share ideas, things our family did, and ways that we've spruced up ourselves. One of the really cool things, and we'll get into the whole ham, and you do a really, really cool preparation of ham, but as a side dish, we talked about, and I've seen these obviously in the establishments you've worked at, and can I talk about the Food Network challenge you did?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that, 2016, right? 2016, 2017? Yeah, the Cubs. The Cubs were in the World Series, right? The Cubs are in the World Series. And you know what I did that day? I spent the day with Jeff Wetzel, being his prep bitch. And I love you, brother. I meant that in a nice way. But Jeff was actually shooting a pilot for
Which, for all y'all listening, when Patrick's in charge of your prep, you need to worry.
You know, you're probably right. Because one of the worst days of my life in the kitchen was when Jeff Wetzel came up from Houston. We got ready to open a restaurant. We didn't know what we were going to have to serve that day until about an hour before service. It's our first day of service, and that was ugly, man. All I can tell you. Thanks for being
ugly.
there. Thanks for being there. No, I was ugly. You were fine.
Hey, but you know what? We got through it, man, because you know what? We put our heads down, we stood on the line, and we cooked food, man. And that's what a lot of guys forget. When things get hairy, they want to quit, they want to give up, they want to do all this. See, I take it as a challenge. You think you can swamp me? I don't think so, buddy. You know, I'm gonna come out victorious.
So I was listening to one of the guests on the air last week with Trey Chapman. He's Trey's Chat on Live, and he had Stefan on. I'm sorry, Stefan. I'm sorry, I'm a little pain here, but Stefan was one of the winners, one of the second, third, fourth season of Top Chef. It wasn't second because I was Ian Hall, but somewhere in the early days.
Yep.
And he was the guy with the mohawk, right? And the goatee dyed the same color. He was actually with you remember Max's Wine Diving that down? They have Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know Stefan. So he was here in studio, and we were talking, going back and forth a little bit about just general statements, but he was talking about his worst day in a restaurant, and their POS system went down. And I recalled the day that we opened Fred's Hickory Inn back up in Bentonville, and it was supposed to be a 2 nights of friends and family, right? So we had people staggered in. They came in at between 5 and 8:30, and everybody had their reservation, but everybody came in. 384 people first night. They come in all at 7:30. Every one of them. And so what happened, and Ryan and the other guys that were in the kitchen there, what happened, the POS system failed. All right,
and half of them want well-done steaks, right?
Yeah, so we had a limited menu. Fortunately, we only had like 6 items, 12 items on the menu, something like that, on a 35, 40 item menu. But I have to say, those guys really pulled it out. What we did is we just started cooking steaks. I said, cook a dozen medium, cook a dozen rare, cook a dozen mid-well, cook a dozen well, and I'm telling you what, we did that, the baked potatoes, whatever, all the sides. We just cooked as much as we could, and when they were handwriting tickets, right? We can't keep track of that stuff. You can't get an all day. You can't get a consolidated count for anything you have to cook if you have 57 tickets hanging up there, right? So I have to say, that was probably the most monumental effort by any kitchen staff I've ever had, ever employed, ever hired, fired, loved, hated. I don't care. I'm telling you what, man, those guys made it happen. Between Johnny Mac, Johnny got 70-something years old.
Well, but Patrick, above that, man, the decision you made, you saw the kitchen sinking, and you made a decision.
Fast. Yeah.
And so that, in my opinion, is what separates the men from the boys. So many people get bogged down ticket to ticket and don't see a bigger picture. Where you made the decision, you know what, dude, just drop me 12 mediums, drop me 12 mid-rares, drop me 12 mid-wells, and they're gonna go out the window, And hell, if we got to take that mid-rare to a medium, we got it, and at least we're a little ahead of the game.
Exactly.
So many people don't think, the importance of a chef. Well, a chef thinks like that.
Dude, man, you know what? It's been a hard day. So yesterday, I don't know why, and we've talked about Doc before, right? Doc was my best friend, and we spent 20 hours a day in these studios every day.
But I thought I was.
Well, you're my best. You want to wrestle? Dude, when I heard you say that the first time there, I'm telling you, I almost peed my pants. So funny, but no, seriously. So you've been a really great friend of mine, a close friend of mine, and probably my best friend at certain times over the last 7-8 years. Yesterday, for some reason, I was walking around the studios. I was working. I was doing taxes last night, or working on a spreadsheet to figure out what I can write off or what I can't, and try and save a little burden on the company here. I don't know. Something struck me as weird, and I've been on a funk ever since then. But you know what you just said right there is that that little compliment that you gave me turned my day, not just my day, my week around, because I would have been in this funk all week. Maybe not as tired of them right now, maybe not as stressed out about taxes, but it's nice to be recognized. And that's why, so I talked a little bit earlier about this weekend is a very special weekend for many people. Family, friends, they go out to eat. Look, Easter Sunday is a big deal. You have, Good Friday coming up.
Yeah, which for the record on that, everybody listening, it's Easter Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Be patient with your restaurant, okay? Don't be a jackass. Don't sit here and try to time your dish to the table. It's Easter Sunday. That kitchen's getting slammed. Them boys and girls are back there in that kitchen doing everything they can to get things to you. Be patient. It's Sunday. Enjoy your family, and your food will come out great. But just be patient. That's sorry. That's great, because I talked to the staff side, right? So not just to the kitchen, but be patient with your servers, right? Be patient. You're right. It's a very important point. We take a lot of time to educate the service staff, but we don't take a lot of time to educate the dining guest. We don't. Yep.
This is the only business I've ever seen where people can walk in, they don't get what they want, even if they ordered it the way that they got it, and they expect it for free, or that they don't have to pay after they've eaten half of it. And there are a few other industries that are service related where you can maybe get a discount or whatever, but this is the only one where people expect stuff for free if it's not what they intended in their mind to receive. And on these big holidays, I'm telling you, Mother's Day is always the hardest. Valentine's Day, people are so wrapped up in each other, it's not as bad. But I'm telling you, Easter's number 2. And you're right. Be patient. Mother's Day, man, that's a pain in the ass.
Everything.
I'm just gonna say,
here's my advice to the listeners. If you're gonna go out on a day like Mother's Day, or you're gonna go out on a day like Easter Sunday, don't order the most complex menu item on the menu.
Oh, come on, man! Why not? Why not?
Order something that can get out to you. Is not going to bog the kitchen down, okay? And yes, us chefs, we're gluttons for punishment. So yes, on my Mother's Day menu, on my Easter Day menu, there's going to be something that's complex.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I want to serve that to you, but just understand that your ticket, seriously, and Patrick, I know you've been there on these days, your ticket could be on the floor. I haven't even pulled it off the ticket machine yet. That's how far the tickets are down.
Dude, we used to wear those things like
you
like
just
boas.
have to have patience.
Mm-hmm. No, seriously. So there's this sound in the kitchen that most people never hear in their lifetimes. So there's 2 things that brings to mind, right? As a chef or a restaurateur, a general manager, it's the sound of money and it's the sound of frustration. And
yep.
when Fred's was probably a couple of ugly nights there, but we had a 20 feet, literally 20 feet of tickets that came in all within 3 minutes. You know what we did? We stopped the line. We all took pictures with it wrapped around our necks like boas. So Paul and Ryan and I and Johnny Mack, and we called Greg back in from, Greg who calls in, Greg Cockrum, who's the GM at River Girl up there. We called him back, and we wrapped around our necks. We took pictures 2 at a time. And I'm telling you what, it was the best thing we ever did, because you know what? It united us. It gave us a break, a breath of fresh air, so we could focus on the guest. Because I'm telling you, that was harder than what we went through at Blue, but we got through it, and it was a good night overall. The guests, it was free food. What the hell, right? It was free food. But I'm digressing. It is Easter weekend, brother.
It takes me back to when I opened the Yellow House down there in Magnolia, Texas.
Man, I felt for you, brother. I felt for you, brother.
A group of cooks. I inherited a group of cooks that really didn't know how to cook. They knew how to take things out of frozen boxes and put it in a fryer They didn't know how to cook like what my menu was, and I took the ticket machines away from them. And I ran an old school call line. And I told them, guys, don't worry about these tickets. You just cook what I tell you to cook, and we'll be okay.
Yep.
And they saw us get through that night, and then they had confidence in me as a chef.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's just, you know, hey, man, you're going to get busy. You're going to get behind. It's going to happen, okay? You try to avoid it as much as you can, but it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, let's talk about some Easter stuff, Patrick.
Yeah. Hey, so I want to talk about one more story. So you talk about a call line. Well, can you hang over to the bottom of the hour? And a few minutes on the other side to talk about some your badass ham you make and your deviled eggs. I gave away the bacon, not the other secret ingredient. But can you stay through? We've got 4 minutes left in this segment. Okay, so for people who've never worked in
now, here's a bet for your people. Patrick thinks he knows the secret ingredient to my deviled eggs.
Oh no!
I think is the secret ingredient is different things.
Well, no, it's not the secret ingredient. It's a part of one of the accoutrement, right? It is the garnish that elevates the dish. It's part of the dish.
No, see, I'm gonna disagree with that.
Well, we often disagree, Jeff.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, and we will. So we'll get there in a minute. But you talked about people have not worked in a restaurant. If you don't know what a call line is, nowadays we have these point of sale systems. Everybody has a server station. You go in, you type in the order. It neatly disseminates the information to each station, and it tells you what food is going to be served with off the other stations, so you can time your dishes. All right, not a problem. It's fantastic technology. But in the old days, there were two things we had. One is a call line, and one is a wheel. So the wheel is always there. If you work the wheel, Jeff, the wheel is what the middle person, the center of the cook line, and they assemble all the plates, push that whole ticket out the front, right? And then the expediter on the other side garnishes, hands it off to wait staff. They serve the table. So that's called the wheel. And if you've ever seen a wheel, if you've been to a place that does like short order cooking, it's literally a wheel. It hangs from the bottom of the shelving, typically, or the ceiling, and it spins. And you put the tickets underneath, and that's a wheel. So those don't exist really anymore, except at like Pete's Kitchen up in Denver, a couple of really old school places in little towns in Texas or wherever we happen to be. But nowadays we have this fancy dancy POS systems. But before the wheel, there was a call line, and the call line was when the server came into the kitchen, they handed the ticket to the expediter or the chef, and they called out every order. And if you've ever been in a kitchen and you're trying to remember, all right, you got 7 steaks, 11 pork chops, 19 sides, salmon steaks, whatever. It's I'll tell you what, it is the first test of whether or not you have the intestinal fortitude to survive in this business. The first time you work on a call line.
Call line goes deeper than that, Patrick. Like, if I get a ticket,
you're going to call me out again? You're going to call me out in a few minutes. You're going to call me out now too? I'm joking. I love you.
No, I'm just saying if I get a ticket, let's say it's just a single person ticket, okay, and they want chicken, okay, and they want French fries to go with it. Well, I'm going to call the chicken.
Yep, but you got to wait,
and then a little bit later, I'm going to call the fries.
Yep.
So that the fries come fresh out of the fryer for the chicken.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. Yeah. So
you really have to be a crazy son of a bitch to run a call line.
Well, so we have 1 minute left, but in this segment. But when I worked at Sushi Den up in Denver, Colorado, and great 35-year history there, sushi bar. They had a roll station in the back, right? So they had 6 or 7 sushi chef stations in the front and a roll station in the back. And you'd have not only tickets coming up in the back, but you would have those chefs calling rolls to you. And that's how you learn. That's how you learn production, baby. And I remember I would have 50 plus. I would write them down when I could. I never was able to keep up. 50 plus rolls when I counted them out. 50 plus in my head. And it took me all of 2 weeks to get there. I'm telling you, you dedicate yourself to.
Hey, Patrick, the beautiful thing about a call is it teaches.
Nope, I lost you for a second. It teaches you what?
Remember everything.
It does. Remember when you had to remember phone numbers?
It teaches the kitchen to communicate.
Yeah, you know.
It teaches your kitchen to communicate.
You got to talk back and forth, work on the timing. Hey, we got about 20 seconds left. Jeff, hold over for a second. I'll put you on mute for a second. But, man, I appreciate you calling in today on short notice. So we're going to put Jeff on mute. But I'm telling you, Jeff does an amazing ham. Easter's coming up. His deviled eggs are pretty good. Mine are better. We'll talk about the secret ingredient, though. I'm sure he's going to say it's love and not the other ingredient I'm thinking of. So we'll be right back. Come back in 2. Ciao.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter @Food Biz.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RIDUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism, so you're burning more.
Yeah,
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
And welcome back, Spoony listeners. This is the fourth course, the final half hour. Let me unmute Jeff here, because if I don't unmute him, he'll shout through the phone loud enough we can hear him all the way from Bentonville, or what, with Bella Vista, Arkansas. Sorry. Jeff, you back in? You hear me?
I'm trying.
You're trying. You don't want to, though. He's like, no, I don't want to hear you, Patrick. All right.
Sorry. No, my phone was. Hey, the beautiful thing about living out here in the country on a lake is I don't get the best cell phone service. And so I'm cool with that.
Dude,
my kids aren't so cool with it, but I am.
What I'm telling you, you have a beautiful place right on the lake up in Bella Vista. You guys sit about, 50 feet above the water? 30, 40, 50 feet above? 30 feet at least? At least.
Oh, no, dude. I mean, hell, just from my bottom switchback to the dock is 50 feet. So we're probably 120 feet up above the lake.
Are you that far? Yeah. Well, I've been there once, and I didn't actually drink that day, so I should remember. Or maybe I needed to drink. I don't remember because I didn't drink. But anyway, dude, that's a spectacular
Which, for all
place.
you listeners, y'all also know that I do the whole little fishing report, but I'm traveling, so I haven't been fishing much. But I'm going fishing tonight.
Are you?
And I'll have you an update tomorrow on how the water is and what's going on.
So you going to call in tomorrow afternoon with a little fishing report for me? Man.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So Jeff, if you don't know, Jeff does the pond to plate. They do a few videos. He and his what's your little Laotian buddy's name? Because I'll get it wrong if I try myself.
It's Thing. But we're also bringing some other people in now. Like I've got a guy named Rance, who is he's retired from the military, and he guides full time. So we're also going to be shooting some videos and whatnot with him and getting him some of this action.
Awesome. So
we got to support our military, guys.
So Jeff, I know you do a lot of fishing. We'll get to Easter in just 1 minute, but what's your favorite thing to fish for? Right? Catfish, or that seems to be your go-to.
Well, catfish is what I know. But my favorite thing to fish for, to be honest, since I moved up here to Northwest Arkansas, is walleye.
Well, I'm telling you, so we don't have walleye in upstate New York. We have pike, which is pretty similar fish. I'm telling you, what a fit, what a catch, man. That's fun to fish right there. Really is. And
it's been a culture shock here, Patrick. I mean,
really?
I don't have an ocean. I'm used to having an ocean.
the third coast, right?
30 minutes down the road, I can be on the ocean and I can go catch wahoo or snapper or flounder, trout, redfish, crabs.
No, the big old mackerel, the striped mackerel, king mackerel, right?
Yeah, a lot of them people don't like them kings. You just got to know how to deal with them,
dude. You got to smoke them, or vinegar them up, and do whatever you want to do. But I'm telling you, if you smoke those, that smoked mackerel's awesome. That's my favorite way to do it. What do you do?
As sad as it is to say, Patrick, I wish I had a better recipe for you, but I'm going to be honest. If you catch a nice king mac,
it's good like it is.
The best thing to do with it is marinate it in Italian dressing.
No, that makes sense. I mean, you get your vinegar or an acid base, and you have some oil and some herbs and seasoning in there. Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, we do that with chicken breast. So
it especially for guys that are out there just catching it, don't know how to cook or anything like that, dude, get it filleted and get it marinated in some Italian dressing, and then plop it on your grill or in your saute pan, whatever you're going to do with it. Either one works just fine, but it really does take some of the kind of, I'm going to say, gamey taste out of it.
That's a good way to put it, though. Something we need to talk about. Now in Northwest Arkansas for Easter time, it's morel mushroom time. Oh, dude, and I gave my hunting ground away to Joe Wilson of all freaking people. I can't believe I did it, but you know what? I'm going to tell you because nobody else is up there. So if you know where the Walton Family Fitness Center is right there?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you go by the tennis courts outside, and there's that big high, the sidewalk goes up onto that big retention pond, dude. Just walk to the other side of that sidewalk, go down towards the shade. Bunches. I've found them as
well. I'm gonna give your viewers the only thing that I'm gonna give them, because morels are like gold.
Oh man,
okay.
So what are morels cost? Are 40 to 60 bucks a pound
The
right
only
now?
tidbit of advice I'm gonna give them is you need to find north-facing bluffs.
Yes. No, and that's so.
North-facing bluffs produce the most morels.
Dude, morels. So how do you come? I love to bread them in cracker crumbs and fry them in butter. That's one of my favorites. But what do you do with them besides sauces and what are you doing? Just morels by themselves? Because I'm telling you, morels, they're often an accompaniment to a center of the plate item like lamb, beef. I'm telling you, they should be the star of the show. They're that good.
And that's I actually like to crab stuff fine. I like to soak it in a little bit of salt water, and then pull it out. It'll be pretty flimsy and flexible, and you can stuff that cap with crab filling. Oh, they're delicious.
Man, so what do you put? That sounds really. So what do you put in the crab filling though? I mean, is it just? It can't be just crab.
I do basically what I do for my crab cakes. I do a little bit of roasted red pepper, a little lemon juice, a little chive or green onion. I do one egg and a little bit of just a pinch of breadcrumb just to kind of hold it together. And then I actually just stick that in a Ziploc baggie, and I cut the end off, and I squirt it into the morels.
Man, that sounds so good. I'm really hungry right now, so I have not. I don't even know if I ate breakfast today.
Now, if you wanted to get crazy with it, you could wrap that in bacon and throw it on your grill.
Damn, dude.
But once again, I don't like to give all my tricks away, but you could wrap that sucker in a piece of bacon and throw it on the grill, and it would not disappoint you.
Yeah. So so morels are. If you've never had morels before, they're a very unique mushroom flavor. They don't really taste like a mushroom. They're, that chefs like to throw umami, right? They like the sixth taste
to go with.
Yeah, umami. I mean, to throw that on, but it really is. It's got this really interesting, earthy, meaty texture to it, and because of it's got these large pores on it, right? It's not like a typical mushroom or a toadstool you'd see. It's got a different texture you can't compare it really. It's nothing like a truffle. It's nothing like a mushroom. It's something very unique, and if you can find them, I'm telling you what, buy them, cook them up. Look up Chef Jeff Wetzel on Facebook. You can go to, let's see, you have LeBouvierChefServices.com. Well, you have .com, or is that just on Facebook, Jeff?
It's just on Facebook.
Okay.
So I got Le Bouvier Chef Services, but then I also have Pond to Plate.
Dude, the Pond to Plate thing, you know how hard I laughed when I got off the phone with you when you said that, Pond to Plate, instead of Farm to Table? That's a brilliant name, and I can't wait till we get a few more of those live videos going. And I've been begging you for a year.
Hey, and we're working on that.
I know.
As I've told you before, when I've been with you, I didn't realize how hard it was to edit video and all this, and we're trying to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
Just like in my kitchen, I make everything.
Yes, you do.
So like I don't treat any other business any other way. If I can't do it myself, then maybe I don't need to do it. But Pond to Plate is coming along nicely. We're getting some good video. We've got a lot of stuff that's getting edited right now. Good walleye action, good crappie action, good striper action. So all this stuff that you can catch inland. You don't have to go to the ocean to catch this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this stuff is in your local pond, if you will, and that might be a lake or whatever. I mean, we can
or river, whatever.
Argue about what's the difference between a pond and a lake, but
size matters, bro.
I'm sitting here looking at my boat down here at my dock, and
dude,
it's just telling me,
come
fish me, come fish me.
Now you're pissing me off. In a good way. I'm jealous. I'm a little envious,
now,
Jeff. I'm a little envious.
I would like to add something, though, that I learned from, I'm sorry, I'm going to the Pond to Plate side of things.
Yeah, no, let's do that. That's because I've been begging you for, Jeff, look, I've been begging you for a year to come up with a show to put on Spoony, right? And we talked about this. You are an avid fisherman, 5 days a week, at least 4. And 5 to 7 when you can, and if you want.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it's your passion. All right, cooking's your first passion. I'd say your kids are your kids are first. I was gonna say second. Your beautiful daughters, but children, cooking, fishing. We'll take the kids out of it. Fishing or cooking, dude. Fishing or cooking. What are you gonna choose? Yeah, I know. That's what I thought.
Oh, if I had to choose between the two, I'll be honest, I'd probably choose fishing.
I don't blame you.
But I love cooking. But the only thing is see, and it brings the kids back into it, is the fishing. There's nothing better to me than taking my kids out on the boat and watching them catch some big old panfish and, big old bluegills, red ears, and they just, God, they have a blast. And I teach them the cycle of life of, hey, we're catching these bluegill. All right. Now, when they're really big, when they're really pan-sized, well, we'll eat those. Like, you eat those.
Yeah.
but old country style. Cut the tail off, cut the head off, and fry it up.
Yes, sir.
And stick it between two pieces of bread, and you eat the whole thing. But I'm also teaching them that if we catch these bluegill, we can go out and we can turn that into bait,
Mm-hmm.
and we can go catch catfish, or we can go catch striper or something. And so, to see my kids out there excited about fishing, that just means a lot to me. And unfortunately, the restaurant business is not that exciting to my kids. Like, well, let's be honest.
They're not gluttons for punishment.
My kids,
they're not gluttons for punishment
because
like we
I own
are,
a
Jeff. They're not.
No, but I own a company. So they think they're just going to walk in and be boss. And no, you're not. You're going to go in and wash dishes or whatever.
Hey, Jeff,
mop floors.
I'm going to correct you. Yes, they are. They're going to walk in and be the boss. I'm telling you. They're going. I'm just saying. They already run the household, dude. I'm telling you.
Not in my kitchen. They aren't.
I'm just giving you a hard time, man. Come on.
Not in my kitchen. Not going to happen. But so. All right, let's get to what everybody wants to know.
Now,
you want to know what the secret ingredient is to my deviled eggs?
Well, okay, so your secret ingredient you're going to say is something you put in the yolk mixture, right?
Nope.
Love?
Nope.
The batter?
Nope.
Okay, so let me go back and we talked about Jeff's wonderful these Gulf Coast or Third Coast deviled eggs. So one of the things he does, he put this really nice thick cut crispy piece of bacon on there, some chive or really nice green onion on there. But the other item that he puts on top to top this is a fried oyster. So it's not the oyster because you would have said that. So Jeff, what's your secret ingredient? Because I'll tell you, I don't know. I made him. I prepped him. I busted my ass down there in Little Rock. What's your secret ingredient? Oh, wait. Okay, there you go. Okay, we lost you for a second. There you go.
When I boil my eggs, and I peel them in half, and I get the yolk out, rinse the egg whites, and then I pickle the egg whites.
Well, I did actually know you pickled the egg whites. Yeah.
That is the kicker. Yes, the fried oyster and the bacon is a wonderful addition to it.
All right, we lost you for a second there, but so here's the question I have for you, and I know the answer, right? You back, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So here's the cool thing. I know the answer to this, and I knew that you pickled them, but I had forgotten, right? We've spoken this like 10 times. Why do you pickle them? Because I talked yesterday, I spoke specifically to flavors pairing because they mimic or pairing well because they oppose. So what would the purpose of pickling the egg whites serve?
Oh, there's an absolute purpose. And the reason for it is it firms my egg up. Mm-hmm. It firms the egg white up to be able to hold the oyster and the bacon. Now, after that purpose...
Mm-hmm. Oh, I lost you for a second. You there?
Oyster, which everybody knows you need some acidity to go with a nice fresh oyster.
There you go. So yeah, all right. And that was my thing is to get, and not just a fresh oyster. You have this really, timed perfectly to order every plate that goes out of the kitchen, dude. I have to tell you, I've worked with a lot of chefs, a lot of cooks, a lot of wannabes in the kitchen, and I'll tell you, your sense of timing is impeccable, by the way, in the kitchen. But every plate of those the deviled eggs goes out has a really piping hot breaded fried. It's not breaded. It's a battered, right? Battered fried oyster. Or do you do a?
It's go ahead. Nah, dude. Hey.
You can't tell the secrets.
Seafood. When it comes to seafood, you do it right.
Cornmeal.
And I do a simple little cornmeal and some cornstarch because the cornstarch gives me a little more crispiness. And that's it. I just dust it in that and fry it.
Perfect. You know, I'll tell you what though. But you talked about you cut out for a minute. So that opposing, so you have that nice tangy vinegary flavor in the pickled egg whites, and then you have that hot, crispy, rich oyster, and that right there. So you have the palate cleanser to the richness.
Well, and you've got all
awesome.
the fat in the yolk.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it all balances out in the end. Like, it's great. And then you've got that smoky bacon. It's a wonderful bite in your mouth. The hardest part I have with that dish, it is a little big. And so, you know, ladies or whatnot, they don't want to eat it in one bite. Which, I'll be honest, the way to eat it is in one bite.
Yeah.
You take the whole thing, and yeah, you might gotta, you gotta keep your mouth shut for a minute. But you know what? A quiet dining room is a good dining room for me because that means they're eating.
Sorry, I was trying not to say that's what she said. So, Jeff, man, when are you coming back to Texas? We need you in Texas. We need you down here at Spoony. Dude, or when are you bringing me back up there?
Unfortunately, I was in Texas this past week, but I just couldn't work out coming to see you.
Yeah. We talked about that.
But I'm coming back in May. I don't know what day it's going to be, to be honest with you, but I'm coming back in May because I've got a friend of mine is doing a big fundraiser kind of organization for politics and whatnot, and I'm going to come down and do a big fundraiser for them.
Let me know if you need help.
And,
if I'm free, I'll help you out.
So I don't know what day that's going to be yet, but it's going to be on the later half of May, like probably. Well, I say later half. It's probably going to be middle half. Middle of May. I'll be down in Texas, and I'm going to be throwing down some wicked shit. Like y'all aren't even ready for my catfish ceviche.
Man, I'm telling you what, I'll eat it. I'll try it. Send it down. Hey, they make this stuff called dry ice. Pack some stuff around the dry ice.
Catfish ceviche, the catfish ceviche is what got me on the producer with the Food Network.
So
he was like, I've never seen anybody do that.
Let's talk of that. Let's talk about that for a minute, right? So, the producer, Adam's a nice guy. He's a killer. Adam's one of our favorite people in that realm, right? From River Productions, RIVR, and that was such a fun day. But I'll tell you what, what I was pissed off about was Game 7 of the World Series. The Cubs finally make it to the World Series, have a chance to win it, and did win it. And you know what I was doing? I was not just look. I offered to help you, and I'll tell you, I was very, very proud to help you that day. What a great day of filming, fun, just friends and camaraderie. But I got there at like 8 a.m. I prepped, and then I helped you. I just helped you out, whatever I could do for you, because you didn't have time to be in the kitchen. They were telling you, stand here, say this, stand there, say that. Let's do it again. Take 4, take 16. It was really fun. And you know what though? It was so much fun watching the whole thing come down to this one 3-course meal between you and the other chef, and I kept my phone. I tried to keep my phone down because I was getting updates from my friends in Chicago saying, "Hey, the Cubs are up, the Cubs are down. Wait, rain delay." I was like, "Rain delay? You can't give me a freaking rain delay. I'm at a dinner. We're shooting a pilot here for Food Network. This is not cool."
Hey, my best opinion on it is when it comes to shows on TV that I like to watch as a chef. I love Top Chef.
My favorite.
I love Chef's Table, where I can really kind of get in the mind of another chef and understand what he's doing. Because I truly believe in the world of chefdom, if you're not learning, you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to suck up as much information as I can. But on that day, Jason and we chose 3 ingredients. 1 for the first course, 1 for the second course, 1 for the third course. And so our guests got to see, which, by the way, that was 100 people.
Yes, it was 100. Yeah,
100
just over.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to see 2 chefs' interpretations of that ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
There was no mystery box. There was none of that. Yes, we knew what we were cooking. But you know what? If you really want the best out of your chef, putting him on the spot, I don't know that that's the best way to go about it. Like, yes, he should, as a chef, he should be able to just handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And we can. But when you have, 3-4 days to think about a menu and think about 3 ingredients and how you want to show them. I mean, Patrick, when's the last time you saw somebody do an apple egg roll with a Thai basil creme anglaise?
Oh, I think that was the night that we filmed the pilot for Food Network. I think that was the last time I saw that. But but you're right, and I've talked about this before. Look, Food Network, man, you guys have set the bar really high. They have like 40 million followers on Facebook. Freaking ridiculous. Their magazine, Food Network magazine, is 50+% of all magazines that are food related sold in the worldwide. 50+%. So they've set the bar. But here's the deal. You're right. Look,
here's my knock to them. Knock to them is they didn't like me because I wasn't liberal enough.
Well, look, Jeff, you have a very intriguing and colorful past, dude. You're one of my favorite characters. And you know what? You're that way because everything you've experienced in life has made you who you are. Dude, you didn't have it easy. You didn't. I'm not saying, look, I know your dad's a cool guy, but you didn't have it easy. You've had to struggle. You've fought for everything you have. And you've made it to the top, man. Dude, you're a great chef. I really, really appreciate the food you do and the candor that you bring, along with patience and insight to the industry. But it transcends that. You're a smart guy, dude.
Well, for all y'all people listening, I don't like to release this information, but my cooking career was cooking for 3,500 inmates 3 times a day.
Well, I didn't want to say anything about that, but Jeff, yeah, I mean, you earned your chops, dude. I mean, you fed. That's how you learn to cook. You learn to cook. You learn to trade.
Hey, that's the wrong way I want you to go with that, Patrick. What I want people to understand from that is that I came from the absolute freaking bottom.
Yeah, you did. All the way to the top.
I came out of prison and nobody would hire me, but here I am.
Yes, you are.
So there's no excuse. There's no anything that can stop you from doing what you do in America if you put your mind to it.
Dude, I can't. What can I say to that, man? You're one of my favorite people. I'm telling you. You ever want to? Look. Email Jeff Wetzel. You want to know more about Jeff? Dude, I'm telling you, you could have a show not just here, but on the other channel over there. You got a story to tell. You have an opinion that has been formed and forged through trial and tribulation
and error. Through trial and error, and unfortunately, there's been a whole lot of error.
Yeah, I've effed up a number of times. Hey, real quick. All right, back to Easter. You got 2 minutes, dude. Tell me about your ham, man. Come on, that's the best ham I've ever had,
dude. All right, I'm gonna tell you what, dude. The best way to do it.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Is to go get you a butt roast ham, and you take it and you take the sharpest knife you got, because you don't want to go too deep. In fact, I actually prefer to use I call it an X-Acto knife. I don't know what people everywhere else call it.
Craft,
a box blade, knife, whatever, and just set it at two clicks and run it down your hand. in a spiral and then turn it and do it the other way. And then I take my ginger snap cookies that you can just buy in a bag. Okay, buy those. I mean, if you want to make them, good for you. I don't. I just buy some ginger snap cookies, and I crush them up in a bag. I take a rolling pin and a Ziploc baggie, and I just pound, and I break them up. And then I put those in a bowl, and I soak them in a little bit of Jack Daniels.
Ooh.
And then I crust that on my ham. And then every 30 minutes, I have a little spray bottle of Jack Daniels. And I spray the ham.
So, you know what I do?
And
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
And then when it's done, it comes out golden and freaking delicious.
It's awesome. I'm telling you, one of the best hams I've ever had. Can I tell you something, Jeff? You just said golden. My daughter Bailey sent me this banana nut bread picture that she made last night, like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. She goes, Dad, this is the banana nut bread. I was so proud of her because she said, you know what? I sent the picture to you because it's your favorite color, golden brown. Dude, I was so happy. So happy. But, you know, I'm telling you, Jeff, can you do me a favor? Can you shoot me that recipe? Text me that, and I'll put that up on Spoony and give you credit for it, and we'll get that out there. All right, we got about 10 seconds. And
Absolutely. But, hey, you know what? Hey, real quick, 10 seconds. You were happy with your daughter. I came home from Texas, and my daughter had made me a cake. She's 9 years old. She made me a chocolate cake.
Whatever, show off. I love you, man.
If that doesn't make you happy as a chef,
nothing does, dude. Hey, take care, man. Hey, listeners, come back tomorrow. Spoony Radio. Chef Patrick signing off. Ciao for now. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
This is the only 24-hour take-anywhere platform dedicated to food